Why hello everybody and welcome back to the first ever daily race on Gran Turismo 7, or my first one at least. It's definitely not the first one ever, but this is my first experience with daily races on this new Gran Turismo 7 game. So we're doing group 3s around Daytona here for today's daily race. And before we get into it, please remember to like and subscribe. And with that being said, let's start here. Starting on P3 on the grid after doing a couple of practice laps in the Mercedes SLS, which I made a little replica livery of the real-life silver arrow that we see in Formula 1. But we get a decent start here, still behind Emu and Lucas VD Berg, and we just gapped everyone else behind us within those first few corners. The Audi's trying to get past the Mercedes up ahead. It's not really going too well, but we have the fastest car in a straight line speed around here, which is of course very important, seeing as we are around Daytona. It has a lot of straights. Off goes the Audi, and that promotes us up into second place, free to chase behind Mr. Lucas ahead of us here. Now heading for the oval section of this track again. Now this is where our car really comes into form here, because we have the highest straight line speed. Soon you'll start to see the gap dwindle to the car ahead. We are both in Mercedeses, but this older Mercedes does have a better straight line speed. And one thing that I found pretty cool in this race is how the time changes as we go on in the race. I haven't seen that ever in a daily race, or at least not in a long time. I think Gran Turismo 6 was the last time we saw that in a daily race. Correct me if I am wrong. But still trying to get past the Merc ahead of us. We're looking at our fuel here to see that we do in fact have to make one pit stop during this race, but that should not be much of an issue, as now into turn 1, starting to come to the end of the first lap here. We're going to come to the end of the first lap, but we are so much quicker here. As where are we going to go? Basically, we have so many options. We have a little fake right, we go left, we go down his inside, but there's an invisible wall there for the pit lane. We go wide. Luckily he goes wide as well, but we get that position and we are ahead and leading our first ever daily race on Gran Turismo 7. The question is, can we hold on to it though? He's still on our back behind us, but we managed to we missed the apex actually, but we do in fact manage to hold on to that position and create somewhat of a gap. For the next few laps you can just see how the gap is growing to the car behind. It is on time lapse right now, but you can still see how quickly the gap is going. It's not yet starting to grow that fast, but in this bus stop we were just in a league of our own. You can see we just gap him there, and we are just off here. It's 2 seconds already, heading on to the third lap of the race. It's just pure dominance this is so far. 3 seconds is the gap, but remember we have to make a one pit stop in this race, and he's probably starting to save fuel, thinking that he might not have to make that second pit stop if he manages to save enough fuel. But let's see how that goes later on. We do get a bit of a penalty here, which is fairly unlucky. We served that, but the gap still remains at that 2 second mark. But can we just take a little minute to talk about how beautiful this game looks graphics wise? I mean, you can see the sun going down, which is why I'm showing you this time lapse. Just watching the sun go down is just such a nice touch and nice sight to see while racing here. Adds much more realism to this race, as we are still continuing to pull a massive gap to the car ahead, heading onto the 5th lap. But now the headlights come on automatically just because it's getting too dark. But this is quite a good representation of what you can do if you make a game well. Like, take F1 2021 for an example. They make that new game every year. Every single year. It's basically the same. All the same old. But with Gran Turismo 7, it takes time to develop a game like this, and it really shows that how much effort they've put in, and it really makes you think that the time that you waited for this game actually is worth it. But back to the race now. We're pulling into the pits on lap number 5, as does everybody else. We are so far ahead that we decide to go for a tire change here as well. So I pull into the pits, we change the tires, we refuel the car, and we are off. And as we come out the pits, I realize how close it actually is on the pit exit, just because we changed those tires. I think the gap was around 7 seconds. I wasn't really paying attention, but it's now very small. But just because we have the SLS around here, I think we'll be able to capitalize on these fresher tires in no time. We don't just capitalize, we dominate this entire daily race, winning by 11 seconds on our first try, might I add. What an experience here. First time around daily races, first time around Daytona and the SLS, and we come home to win our first ever daily race on Gran Turismo 7. That is somewhat of an achievement. Let me know how you did in your first ever daily race. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.